So leadership is a process of influencing people. I want to focus on the people part really quickly. So leadership is fundamentally about people. I want to stress this very, very strongly. It is about people. It would be ridiculous for the CEO of some car company to know next to nothing about cars, to not know the difference between an engine and a motor, to not know how an exhaust works, all these things. I would say it's even more ridiculous for a leader to try to lead if he knows next to nothing about human nature, right? So a leader has to know people. He has to understand what makes people tick. He has to understand how much rest people need. He needs to understand how do I reward people? How do I push people in a healthy way? How do I respect the necessary balance between work and life? All these things, all these questions, which fundamentally stem from a proper understanding of human nature. Whatever process or whatever goal or whatever context you're working with, these things might change. The tools might change, the processes might change, but people don't change. So a leader really needs to understand this unchanging human nature in order to lead well. And not just human nature in general, he also has to understand the nature of each of his men, the men that he's leading. He has to understand what are their desires, what are their fears, what's their background, what do they want their future to look like. All these things are the context in which they are leading. These are the people that they're leading. People are not tools, they're not things, they're not instruments. They have their own value. People, every single person is infinitely valuable. I think a leader that really embodies this extremely well is Nick Saban. So Nick Saban, the head coach of Alabama's football team, one of the most winningest football teams of all time. And many regard Saban as the best college football coach of all time. I'm actually in the camp that regards him as such. Now, what's fascinating about Saban is that he runs a great football program. Everything is in tip-top shape. Everything is in order. And he does this by focusing first on people. So Nick Saban's philosophy is to first form people into being great men. And if they are great men, they will become great football players. He realizes that if one focuses too early and too quickly on getting people to become great football players, he might jeopardize the larger and important task of creating great men. Great men do great things. And so if we focus on helping the people who are leading to become great people, they're going to do great things. They're going to accomplish the mission. If we focus too much on the mission and not enough on the people, well, we might find that both the mission and the people take a hit. Actually, I want to jump to a video from Nick Saban. He's explaining more about his philosophy to Charles Barkley in this interview. Listen up.
What instilled in you, like, I want to make my players great players, but I want them to be great men also?
I think it came from, my dad was a coach. He never went to college, so he coached Pop Warner football, he coached American Legion baseball, and he always emphasized doing things right as a person and how much value that created for you. And he always thought that if you have good people and they have good character, that's going to carry over in the way they compete and play, on the field. So I kind of grew up that way. But I think there's a lot, and I think this is one of the issues that I had when I coached in the NFL. That's not necessary. It's not necessary to try to instill personal values that are going to help people be more successful in life by making better choices and decisions. It's not necessary to emphasize guys getting an education because that could change their life, after football. So how to compete, discipline. It takes discipline to make good choices and decisions about whatever you want to accomplish in your life. So, athletics is a great vehicle to sell all these things to a guy that they can go use in their life so that they have a chance to be successful.